Do you have a mix of pattern papers that need using? Hello everyone, Miss Carrie here. In today's video, I'm going to share a few simple ways that you can use some of your busier pattern papers, and I'll share how I created this lovely bridal party layout. I'm working with the Sweet Summer kit from Color Rush Studio. Last week, I shared an unboxing of this kit and shared the contents in each of these adorable little embellishment packs. As you can see, there's an array of large pastel patterns and a mix of bright basic prints. These are perfect for your summertime and everyday projects. The July kit includes 12 two-sided pattern papers, a set of foam thicker alphas, Frazzles and Ribbon, acrylic shapes, bits and pieces die cuts, these adorable cone elements, and fabric florals. The Sweet Summer kit is available to purchase on the Color Rush Studio website. As of today, the kit is listed as sold out, but more are being printed, so you will need to pre-order the kits. They are available for a limited time. In the unboxing video, I share how you can order this collection and get the discount. In the description below, I'll add a link to this Color Rush Studio kit, along with the list of supplies I'm using today. Let's go ahead and get started with the project. In my craft room, numerous kits feature bold patterns and prints, and like you, I often find it challenging to come up with ways to use them. As I create this page, I'll share some of my tips, and hopefully they'll help you on your next project. When I have these large prints, I like to cut them into smaller chunks. The diamond pattern as a whole is very lovely, and it would be a great background for larger photos. I have smaller pictures, and I don't want them to get lost on the page. I often pair busier patterns with solid or muted tones because the eyes will need a place to rest. The patterns I selected have white backgrounds, which gives me an opportunity to bring in a darker color and create a frame around my page. Paper patterns can be used to create directionality on your pages. If I were to place this stripe pattern vertically, the eyes would flow up and down the page. My photos are horizontal, and I would prefer that the viewer's eyes move from left to right, so I'm going to place the stripes in that direction. Using your papers to narrow in on your focal point is a great way to take advantage of the prints in your collection. In unboxing videos, I like to provide suggestions on how to use the items in a kit. Offering ideas and inspiration when we're exploring the collection together can spark your creativity and assist you in deciding if the kit suits your needs. When I shared this diamond pattern, I mentioned how lovely it would be to have some stitching on it. I went ahead and ran this through my sewing machine, and it really makes that pattern pop. With a die in my collection, I cut these borders from white cardstock. I'm adhering them in place with double-sided tape. As you saw, the back of this pattern is quite a mess with all the thread and clear tape. This double-sided adhesive is going to stick to it much better than liquid glue. For those of you who don't like to add stitching to your pages, you could replicate the look of that stitching with stamps or by scoring lines with a scoreboard. Adding just a little bit of texture to your pattern papers can really make them stand out and elevate your page design. Behind my photo, I'm going to place this woodgrain pattern. The photo has quite a bit of brown in the background, and by adding a frame in the same color, I'm extending that background and bringing focus to the person in the photo. I do want to soften this a bit, so I'm going to add a layer of vellum over the top. I could glue this in place, but I like the way it looks wrapped around the paper. Layering vellum over bold patterns is a great way to soften or mute the colors. If you love a print, but you need to tone it down a little, just layer some vellum over it. For my journaling, I'm going to use a tag hidden in a pocket. I just folded some cardstock in half and adhered the sides together. This will sit right behind the photo and can be removed to read the story about the event. I'm going to embellish this page with flowers that I cut from the pattern paper. I find large floral prints are difficult to use in their entirety, so I often cut them apart into smaller chunks or use them like this as embellishments. A few of these flowers are going to overlap the journal tag, so I'm adding my adhesive to the front of the flowers. These will stick to the photo frame so that the tag isn't blocked. I mentioned earlier that I was using those blue flowers on the diamond print as embellishment grounding points. When I create scrapbook pages, I try to create a large element that the smaller pieces sit on. Not only am I using the fussy cut flowers, I've also brought in a few of the die cut flowers. This pink is a brighter color than the ones on the page background, so it's going to create some contrast in the flower bundles. When I fussy cut flowers, I always cut the leaves separately. This gives me an opportunity to place the leaves wherever I want. Here I tucked a few of them behind the tag, and as you can see, the tag still moves freely on my page. I am going to place another bundle of flowers at the base of the page, but I want to lay the title down first. I'm layering the foam thicker letters from the kit onto a clear ruler to help me with the spacing. Most of the time I place my letters onto a ruler or some acetate first. This allows me to audition their placement before I commit to sticking them down. It's much easier for me to lay down the elements and hold that title over the page to figure out where I want it to go, instead of trying to move it after I stuck it down and possibly causing damage to my layout. The word bride is really bold, and I wasn't sure if I wanted the words below it to also be that bold. So I tried a few different sets of letters. Now, if this were a bright summary page, I would have used those thicker letters, but I like the soft white for this design, so I'm using those instead. These are just a few that I had left over from another kit. In my unboxing video, I showed you these adorable little cones, and I mentioned how they could be used for ice cream, cotton candy, or tucked into flowers like a bouquet. I'm going to do just that and place it right here in this area. I do want to warn you that these are very thick, and you may need to position them in a way that won't cause damage to photos or other elements once it's in an album. I'm going to build up my flowers around it to create a bit of cushion in this area. Now it looks like I might need a few more flowers, so I'm going to cut these out, put them in place, and then I'll share the completed page with you. Off camera, I added the rest of the floral elements to this bundle here to balance out the thickness of that little cone piece. To dress it up, I adhered a twine bow over the top. I brought more of that twine to the top of the page with the Frazzles Ribbon. This color is a perfect match to the rest of the page. This sage green color was one of her wedding colors, so I added more of that hue with some enamel dots from my craft stash, and I sprinkled them within the flowers. My goal today was to provide you with simple ways to incorporate pattern papers, like the ones from this Color Rush Studio kit. Sometimes it can be challenging to find ways to use those bold prints, but by cutting them apart, adding stitching, introducing solid colors for balance, or exploring creative approaches, you will quickly find new ways to use them. If you're one who likes to pin photos to inspiration boards, I've added still shots of this layout to my website, social media posts, and in the Color Rush Studio Facebook group for you to use. I want to thank you for joining me. I hope this project inspired you to try something new. If you have any questions about this project or the supplies I used, feel free to post those in the comments below. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.